What's going on, guys? Welcome to Peaktime Speaktime, where I take a break away from editing and all the busy things, everything that I have to do to just talk to a friend. So today we have here Jameson Hunt, CreedKool, the legend. Yeah. I remember, back in the day, seeing this guy work, and I was like, I want to be like this guy. I want to be like this guy. Yeah, this guy put out some good things. Yeah, so he's here, today. He's wearing many hats. Now he's into events, photography, video. He's put his hand in a couple music videos. I was watching a music video the other day and I saw his logo and I was like, oh, yeah. This guy bad. Yeah. So we're here. Let's introduce yourself, tell the people a little more about you.
Well, it depends on where you want to start,
Yeah.
On my birth certificate, my name is Jameson Hunt,
Yeah.
also known as Braga or CreedKool.
Everybody knows you as Creed, Creed. Yeah.
That name actually came from Michael and Kidel.
Really?
Yeah, they just called my name short for. I think about Michael, and then Kidel adapted it, and then everybody was like Creed.
So where the CreedKool came from?
Boy, every time people ask me that question, it's difficult for me to pin it down.
Yeah.
But I just know that it has a lot to do with the definition of creed is a belief.
Right.
For
creed,
me,
yeah.
if you, I'm not sure if you ever noticed my tagline for CreedKool is creative freedom. Now, I have obsession with autonomy, right? I love autonomy. I love doing stuff my way.
Right.
You understand? So for me, it was just like whatever your belief is, whatever you want to do, once it's not affecting nobody, just be okay with it.
Right.
You understand? Be okay in yourself. Yeah. So that's really and truly where it's stemmed from.
All right. Yeah. So, I think like as a creator, there's a lot of challenges. There are a lot of challenges that we go through, from day to day, the people that we deal with, Sometimes you just need a break and, just anything could be a challenge at the time, but we have work to do. And, so what's your challenges?
But it depends, if you're talking specifically to, I think the biggest challenges we have as photographers here, I think it has a lot to do with two things. I think the financial compensation and the respect.
Right.
I think that's usually the two things because, we already know what financial compensation is, so we haven't gone and discussed that.
Right.
But in terms of the respect, I feel a lot of the times when people call us for our creative work, they don't understand the work, the back-end work that is required of it. So sometimes when you tell somebody, okay, a photo shoot cost $300, they be like, oh, I only want 20 pictures or I only want 10 pictures.
Right.
But they don't understand, if you break it down, we actually undervaluing ourselves.
Right.
But again, that's the market that we're in, so we have to survive in it. So like I say, it's just a lot of the respect, like people just feel as though, like, oh, that's easy. And as soon as you finish your shoot, they be like, you finished with the pictures already, and not understand that there's a process that comes with it to get the end product that you are satisfied.
You are satisfied with. I like a couple of days ago, I was saying, don't promise people pictures before before your recommended turnaround time.
Right. Yeah.
Because I still do it. Like last week, I did 2 shoots, and both of the people, their birthdays were Wednesday, which is and. So I had to do 16 edits and I had other things, like personal things to do. Yeah. I had other shoots to do, so it was a challenge and I had to stay up at night, I had to lose sleep to get it done, But just because I promised I will get messages like, hey, where's my stuff?
Yeah.
Before the recommended time that I told them, you will get it on your birthday because I know I couldn't have done it before. I had a lot to do. But, I think photographers usually, I usually tell people 2 weeks, for the turnaround time, just because I know I could give it to them before that. But if I promise and something comes about where I cannot do it,
you want to make sure that you have a little bit of buffer.
I would be in trouble. But
I agree, and I think and one thing I've tried to do, I don't necessarily do it with all things because stuff like weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I tend to do it faster. Well, no, let me correct myself. Stuff like weddings, I tend to do it a little bit slower.
All right.
Because it requires a lot of deliberate effort.
Yes.
Because anything that you shoot that is very high, because imagine I stopped doing weddings for a while because of that, right? It's because for me, I started to realize that once ever you start doing work with in spaces that the emotional energy is very high,
Right.
it raises the expectation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that could cause a little bit of complications, because sometimes we don't necessarily get the time to throw out the clients to really know, okay, that is the problematic clients from that is the simpler clients, So sometimes we take a wedding and then you meet a bridezilla that will just make you question your whole existence in photography.
Yeah. Right.
So is that, so if I'm doing something more like carnival or something, which is something that I like to shoot, like especially community carnivals,
Right.
because for me it's about the passion and the energy that you see on the road. Like, it's that one time of year where people not worrying about who is boss, who is manager, who is secretary, who is this, who is janitor. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody come in and enjoy themselves on the road. And the fact that it's a community carnival is almost like you having fun with your neighbor. So that's why I like doing. So my turnover time for stuff like that is genuinely about 48 hours.
Okay.
Because after that time, there is a diminishing return. People's energy has now shifted back to the regular day-to-day basis.
Right.
So they might not be inclined to go after and be excited about the pictures again.
Right,
so
right,
it
right.
really depends on what you do. Then your turnover time can vary based on that as well.
Yeah. So for me, like, I kind of practice how to deliver quick for certain things. Like, like if I shoot, like, let's say a boat ride or boat cruise or something like that, I would try to give that up the next day. But it has a lot to do with what you have to do with your day to day and how much time that you have. So sometimes you get lucky and you can deliver something in a day, but never, going back to what I said, never let the client know, because if anything happens, they will hold you accountable to what you said.
Very
And then there's no way you can change their minds about that. So there's a lot of challenges in photography, but we're here, we're doing it. So let's talk about other things. Let's tell us about your event coming up. Yeah.
Okay, so backstory.
It's the 30th.
Right, it's the 30th
of June, right? June. Yeah. Okay.
So the backstory with that is that I went to school in Trinidad, and then I stayed there afterwards. So I spent about 8 years in Trinidad.
Right.
So that actually started my photography journey and my journey into events.
Right.
So they were kind of synonymous, but obviously the photography one dominated because that's where a lot of my emphasis was. So it was just a casual conversation I was having with my friend A, because she was a stage manager for what they call that, a thing concert, a charity concert for one of our friends who had cancer. Okay. So I was like, yeah, I'll come and shoot, because it's all the gospel artists in Trinidad, all the prominent names from Positive, from Russell Leos, all of them, they were there.
So you knew all the big soca stars and things?
Yeah, good. They probably the B list. I didn't reach the A list yet, but I was on the B list when I was doing wood.
So I heard you did a show for Marshall.
No.
You didn't know. All right.
I say it. Yeah, but people that I work with was people like Kimber Susano, Ufan Als and stuff like that. Those kind of people is the one that I really dealt with. Delving a little bit more, but my time in Trinidad was up. Okay. So I had to shift and do something else. But in the gospel arena, anybody big in Trinidad, I definitely work with them. Okay. That's a definite. So, right. So when I did that, she told me like, okay, you can come. But the day of, I thought she was joking, So she was like, hey, where you? I was like, but I in the dorm. She said, no, come. So I took pictures for them. Right. And I released it myself. Right. That was a free job, pro bono, just starting off, whatever. Right. And literally every single performer changed their Facebook profile picture to my picture. Yeah. Every single one. Nice. And from there, it really started to take off, because I started to meet people like Josh Rudder, who's still a very good friend of mine. He was the chairman of COT, which is the copyright organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. So with his connections and his job, it allowed me to filter out into other stuff. So with him too and other people, I started doing a little bit events at school with people and stuff like that. Right. Now coming back here in 2017, Curtis Lightbox. Right, that's Curtis Lightbox is the one who did things like Wet Fit at the time. Yeah, Wet Fit. Right. So he started off with Blueprint Entertainment at the time, right? So then he called me and he said like, Jameson, bro, I need you to do a flyer for me for 2 parties I have in.
Right.
So I did saying, guys, but I don't do flyers, guys.
Right.
What I know about that. So that was actually my first event flyer.
Okay.
That was Twilight and then shit, I can't remember the other name now. But yeah, so it was that and a boat ride. Right. So from there, he now brought me onto the team as more than just a graphic person, but also with my foresight in curating events. Right. So from meeting Kurt now, I end up starting to do work with Akim Latcher, right, with the Latcher group. So Akim Latcher used to do majority of VIP experiences, again, for Marshall. Right, for the Marshall show.
Yeah.
Right, so we did something for Color Me Red and Cap Mizo 10-year anniversary, those kind of stuff. Right. So from there, people like Akim Latcher really taught me the business end of entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. So with Kurt, he showed me I learned a lot more of the technical, the marketing and stuff like that.
And you learned graphics.
I learned graphics by default from.
See a little bit of pressure.
Right,
you know?
exactly. And that's a good thing I always tell people. I like working for Kurt because Kurt is somebody, he would push you.
Right.
He understands your capabilities and he would push you that you reach to a point where, bro, like Jameson, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I also appreciate about him is that he's not somebody who tell you, oh, do that for me and he go on his business.
Right.
He would stay right there
Yeah.
and tell you guys, Jameson, don't come and tell me that can't work, dog. Let's sit down there and try and figure out how to make it work. Right? So I've always valued his input in anything, and up to date we're still super, super close.
Right. Okay.
You know? So coming off from that now, I now join CDL's team, which is Transcend. DTS. So Transcend GOB.
Right. Big up CDL.
Yeah. So from that now, he called me in 2019 and was like, bro, I have an idea for Transcend. I want you on the team or whatever. So I came in, and then that's the whole concept of the whole Moonlight Mask came in about.
Okay.
Right? So from there, we now had to unfold everything, see the feasibility of it, see if it makes sense and stuff like that. And from there, so with him now, he actually brought me back into the marketing side of it. So like the 2 past promotion videos, that was basically the ideas from Cyril and myself, and unfolding with other people like he.
Yeah. I saw that last video. That was.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love that video.
Yeah, it was like right. So with DTS now is more or less logistics. Now for me now, I've always wanted to enter the entertainment space for myself. And for me, it's not anything about doing anything different.
Right.
I want to do my version of it.
Yeah, I think you did for the I Said Good Morning. You did your version, because honestly, when I was there, it didn't feel like a regular. It didn't feel like a regular event because the people, the environment, the place we were, like it was just different. Everything was just, it had a nice vibe to it, even if I was there to work, you know, but it had a nice vibe to it. And yeah, I liked it. It didn't feel like, you know, any other event. It just felt like, yeah, that's a jam time special right there, you know? Yeah, so continue. Yeah, go ahead.
But I feel this should be an extended version here, but
I'll
tell you after, but we'll continue.
All right.
So from there, I decided to do my own version of it, and I wanted to do it specifically in my constituency. Because when I grew up in Masque, like I used to lime a lot in places like Roseau, Jackmill, Ancillary, Millet, you know, and those places were always active. Like, bro, like I'm telling you, you could go Roseau at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, and all businesses are open.
Oh, okay.
Because even when I used to cut my hair, I used to go literally at 11 o'clock in the night to cut my hair. And there were lines of people waiting to cut their hair, you know?
Okay.
So after the whole crime situation and whatever,
things changed.
It changed the landscape of it, right? And I didn't particularly like that because for me, again, I went to school for economics. Right. So having businesses thriving is something that I like to see. And especially when my constituency actually making money, I'm happy to see it. So for me, I wanted to change the perceptive complexion of what people have of ancillary.
Okay.
Right? So for me, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this in ancillary. I'm doing it in my constituency. And I want people to say that we have things.
And that itself was very different. Like that, and I think because I remember people seeing the videos that I posted in my status, and they were like,
Where that is?
where is that? And somebody, one person actually told me, I can't remember who, but one person actually told me, I was supposed to come, but I didn't because they didn't answer it, and I feel bad.
Yeah.
Like the person said that.
Yep.
I was
got
like,
a lot of messages like that.
Yeah.
Very correct. I got a lot of messages.
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's good because sometimes is that, and Big Mac said it right. He said we surprise them. You understand? Because that's what I wanted. I wanted that element of surprise. I wanted my version of it.
Right.
It's no different because you could say technically our model is that of like something like a bacchanal brunch. You understand? So you come for the food, you pay for your drinks, and we just do the entire experience.
Right.
Now, from coming from an understanding of a lot of psychology, right? I've also understood that for you to, I've always asked myself that question: what makes an event score? Because I'm very feedback oriented when I do my stuff. I always ask questions. Then I make adjustments based on that.
Based on that, right. So you listen to the people.
Right. So my thing is that always how events move. So that's what, when I used to work with Akim, that was always my biggest question that I would ask.
Right.
What makes an event a successful event from an unsuccessful event? So I went down the entire list.
Yeah.
No, it's not the drinks. It's not the stage. It's not the decor. It's not necessarily the people.
Yeah.
But it's all those elements put together.
I think the music too.
Well, yeah, right, and the music.
Yeah.
Right, so it's all those elements put together, raise the entire thing. But there's one thing that I noticed that stood out a lot more than others, right? So usually in an event, there is the stage, the people, and then the bar. So from the stage, there is a diminishing return on value and excitement of the crowd from the stage. So what you also realize is that, sometimes when you vex at something or something is depressing you, the first thing they tell you to do is to change your environment.
Yeah.
And in researching events, I've noticed that a lot of the times people don't allocate enough resources to changing the aesthetics of the place.
Of the place, okay.
Right? So a lot of the times the event is good, but it doesn't take it over the top.
Yeah.
So we decided, hey, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to change how the place looks, elevate the space, make it a warm and welcoming place. That will bring it to a certain level.
Yeah, I think, but like one thing you should look into is, well, I think you did that well the last time. It's just finding a way to attract people to the front.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But again, there are several factors that could affect that as well. Yeah. Because generally, people who come to the event would generally go towards the back end of the event.
Yeah, that's how
and then when the music starts to build up, and when alcohol takes, they start to come towards the front.
Yeah, that's
you understand that. I think that's natural human behavior. Yeah. And even segueing from that, I think the people that you have at your event is the biggest effect on the vibe of your event. It's the people and truly that really make the event. The other things around it elevate that.
Okay.
Right? So for example, you would have a particular event, right? And I mean, people, I use those stuff loosely, but let's say goons, right? And at the end of the day, I'm a realist when it talks to about understanding events.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, the way quote unquote goons, or in Senegal we call them bad boys, come to the event, there's a benefit and a disadvantage with them. They will make your bar make money.
Right.
Because they spend, right? Because of their lifestyle, they like to spend money on drinks and enjoy themselves and stuff like that. Right? More better than, I guess, the quote-unquote young professional.
Right. Yeah.
But what happens is that it makes it a little bit difficult for people to move around the space just because of the nature of who they are. They're not really movers.
Right. Yeah,
but they usually stay in one place.
Yeah.
You understand? However, if you have young professionals and more females, they tend to move around the space better. Now, the younger fellas, or well, I guess the older fellas, or all fellas, for example, would have a tendency of always going and try to get their attention.
Right.
So the way to get attention is by, hey, I buy your drink.
Yeah, buy a drink.
Do this or
around. Yeah.
So with the space moving, the tension is much lower. So by virtue of the tension being lower, the vibe now elevates.
Right.
You understand? But again, the disadvantage of that is that the young professionals usually don't spend as much money by the bar because they're more financially aware.
Yeah.
And they tend to be financially more responsible.
Yeah. So they're trying to bring their savings up.
Exactly. Right? Because sometimes they might have a loan for a car, they try to build a house, they have a young kid at home. So their spending power is not as much. Right? So that's the different thing. So when I deal with stuff like in terms of logistics for my events and for other people, these are the questions. Because for me, again, like I tell you, I have to deal with the realities of situations. As much as it might sound comfortable to say it's goons and this kind of people, whatever. For me, it doesn't matter. You come to the event and enjoy yourself. That's what it is for me. It stops there.
Right.
However, I have to understand my clientele. You understand? And understand the effect it has on my clientele.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if you have a bashment party, right? There's certain drinks that will just never sell. It will never sell. Compared to if you have something like a brunch, there's certain drinks that will sell much quicker than not. And we just have to understand that.
Yeah, imagine like you have a party and you spend money putting Casamigos and them guys. Yeah, go find people.
Exactly. Now, Casamigos is a popular brand, but not with locals.
Yeah.
Casamigos is a popular brand with the foreigners that's coming in.
Right.
So the most time you see Casamigos is on events that has predominantly foreigners.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Compared to like here, a lot of people drink. Like, bro, you cannot have a party in St. and
not have Bounty because
You understand?
Bounty
you can jump high, you can jump low. You can remove Hennessy, you can move Johnny, you can move Jack.
Yeah.
You cannot not have Bounty.
Yeah. Bigger Bounty. Yeah.
Bigger Bounty.
Yeah. And you can't label.
Right. Yeah. So that's just what it is for me. So for me, I'm starting to veer off photography a little bit. I started to go a little bit deliberate more in
events.
Right. Well, yes, in that part, but in terms of the photography aspect, more into directing. So like the same stuff with CDL.
Yeah.
For me, I rather go in the back end, direct, create the script and everything, and then allow the more younger, and the more agile persons in the game to,
Well, I'm not that agile, I'm not that young, but I'm still there doing photography.
Yeah.
So here's what. In the season, carnival season, coming up, I feel like your event is one of the events that will kick off the season. I feel like when I go to this event, I feel like, that will remind me that, hey, carnival is here. But I'm expecting good things because of, what you've done before.
Yeah. I try my best not to spare any expense.
Right.
Yeah, my team does get on with me because they're saying, boy, you.
Yeah, you're doing too much.
Yeah, but for me, is that I just want people to have a good time.
Yeah. And you're not doing it you're doing it for the long road, It's
right, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
You're trying to build your clientele.
My brand. Like I tell you, my main mandate is actually just for economic activity
in the community.
Yeah, because like I always tell people, I'm not going to make money from events.
Right.
The money that I probably want to make, I will not make it from events.
Okay.
But for me, it's just a certain way for me to kind of give back or for allow people to, like I tell you, for me, I just like to see people enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Right.
So that is my main driving force.
But one thing I didn't see, I didn't see you enjoying yourself.
No, because I was on the back end working.
Nah.
You understand?
On that day, I feel like, you need to
I was on the back end
delegate and just, I think, I don't know, but I think people want to see that.
Possibly, but you see the thing is there. You see the thing is there. It's so interesting, and I always tell people you learn by living life.
You're right.
You understand? That is the first thing. So yes, I've been in years in events, but the difference is the buck never stopped at me.
Yeah.
So now the fact that the buck stops at me is just that everybody at the end of the day will come to you.
Will come to you for something.
Right? Right. So, and delegation is so important to the game.
Yeah. It is.
Right, it's very important to the game. Like I say, I don't have no qualms talking about those kind of things because, again, that is a service that I provide to create certain logistics to make things run a little bit easier.
Right. Okay.
I'm a problem solver by nature.
Right.
You understand? So efficiency is my game. But again, when you're doing it, there's a lot of stuff that you tend to overlook. Like, okay, prime example, like forgetting toilet paper for the bathroom.
Yeah.
You understand? It might seem like a simple task, but it's so low on the totem pole. It's like, shit, I forget that because you're so busy about getting in your drinks order.
Right. And people gonna come there like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's why checklists are so important. Right.
Yeah.
And you have to get people from different things who have emphasis on different things to take lead of certain things. Because, for example, the person who is running my bar is my best friend. You understand? I trust her with my life. I trust her with my life more than I trust myself with my life.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
So again, it's about delegation as well.
Okay.
So when another bartender would come to me and like say, bro, we need that, I say, bro, I do not want to hate. Talk to her. There is a line of order, and just keep that line of order.
Right.
Because from one thing I used to do a work for a company in Grenada called Island Catering.
Right.
Right? And I don't know if it's coincidentally that they only hire men. Right? There was only 2 ladies who used to work in that thing, and I think he had a staff of about 20 or 25. There was only 2 ladies.
Okay.
And they were the administrative role. But one thing that I've always appreciated about Island Catering is that everybody knew what was going on. Everybody was on the same page. I don't know if it was a training program he had.
They had, but yeah.
Like, bro, we used to work, and I used to tell my partner at the time, that's a really first year. Like, just talking to him.
Yeah.
Somebody would overheat,
And get
and
you
within
something.
5 minutes, I would get a bottle of water.
Wow. Yeah.
You understand?
But speaking about that, let me just deviate for a bit. Why do you think they don't feed photographers at weddings?
Boy.
Is it that they don't think like we deserve food? And even me, like I think like if I come and do a wedding for somebody, you don't have to feed me. But sometimes I'm there for 10 hours, right? At one point, do I get to eat something other than probably breakfast, right? So what do you think of?
So the thing is, actually, I used to have in my wedding contract. I don't do contracts anymore, but I used to have in my wedding contract that we have to get some food first.
Yeah. I know some photographers have it. I don't have it in my contract.
Well,
But-
maybe we should put it.
Yeah, so people's like, but I work with some people, and I've done a 12-hour wedding before, and I didn't get a thing to eat. You know, it happens. So I just feel like it's and you know, there's some people like I work with, and like I work with planners. So I don't give them a contract for every wedding or something like that. You know, but if I do a wedding where the person hires me direct, most times, you know, I get something to eat, or sometimes it's a short. It's a short wedding. I don't need anything, you know, from them like that, of that sort. But there's just sometimes, you know, I did a wedding once. Let me just give some stories, you know. I did a wedding once, right? So we were there. It was an 8-hour wedding, and, you know, like I let everybody else come in and get some food. But I think there was a little bit of people coming in after. So I was on the line. And they told us, well, we cannot get food because there's still more people. We cannot get plates. That was the thing. So, but the guy was before that, the groom was like, you know, make sure you guys eat and everything.
I feel like I know where that wedding is.
So,
I feel like I know where that wedding is.
so there were like 5 guys that pull up at the wedding, and they were not on the list. So these 5 guys took over the plates and stuff that was set for the media team. So we were there and we didn't get anything. So we had to take little bowls they had and put plantain and chicken and thing in it, you know, and sit in a corner, you know, and try and eat something with our hands, wipe that with tissue when we done, you know.
Now, you know,
Boy.
you know, again, I think it's just, to be honest, I think a lot of those things are just overlooked.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
I think it's just overlooked by just the virtue of a lot of times couples get overwhelmed by the process of doing the entire wedding planning.
Yeah.
Is that they overlook certain things. So sometimes it's not necessarily them, but sometimes it's just human nature to just see the bigger line items.
Yeah. But the thing is, sometimes it's a lot of the things that happen at weddings is probably not even the bride and groom, it's the people around helping them.
Exactly.
So some of these people believe like, why should a photographer get food? Why do I have to feed you all?
Exactly.
Yeah. I had my assistant get me a plate of Chinese food. And I sat at the wedding and eat my Chinese food. Because like everybody was eating. I think it was 9 hours. And I couldn't have left. So I ate my Chinese food. People saw me eating my Chinese food. And I continued my job. You know, because I was hungry, because some of these weddings you start before lunch. And sometimes I have little things to do in the morning. I don't even really eat. And most times I don't even really
Eat in the morning.
Yeah, I don't really have a large breakfast or something like that, you know, to hold me.
Yes. Well, what I've learned, well, my mother always used to tell me that don't leave your house with an empty bed.
If you're empty belly, I do that. I do that a lot.
She always drew that into me. So especially if I know I have a wedding on that day, especially if it's a long wedding, I try my best, first of all, not to do nothing in the morning.
Right.
As a first.
Yeah, just to relax, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Again, because that's why I have my price at a particular thing for weddings. Because it allows me the opportunity to not accept another job.
Right.
You understand?
Right, makes sense.
So you have me for the entire day, basically. So
Pretty
I'm
much.
rested and everything before I get there. I am eaten, so I kind of buffer me a little bit. Right. But again, it goes back to the same thing that I tell you. It again all depends on the client that you have.
Yeah.
And literally just last night I was having a conversation with one of my friends, right? And he was always saying that he's big on contracts, right? Because he was always telling me, I was giving him a scenario and he was saying like, bro, like why you don't say out contracts? I said, bro, stop saying out contracts. Because first of all, people don't read contracts.
You don't read the contracts.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
You understand? And then even if they read the contract, sometimes it's still not added into the rules. Yeah, it's a form of protection. But I told him what I've done. I think over the time of being in photography, I think you would probably been able to do that too. You'll get to learn personalities very quickly.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So after a while, you understand, you can read somebody who's genuine and be like, okay, yeah, that person will pay compared to somebody who...
Yeah, you tend to, when you do it a long time, you tend to read things like that. You tend to know how to deal with
Right,
groups.
exactly.
You tend to know how to deal with, like, you know, people just, you can almost predict what they're going to do.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you learn what clients to accept and what not to accept.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give you another scenario just about that as well. I did a wedding at a particular establishment, right? They have a very strict criteria, right? The photographers weren't on that criteria. Because apparently they say the catering for, let's say 150 people, not 151.
Okay.
The groom was not having it. He was pissed. He didn't want to eat. He said, let me tell you something. And that's him. I didn't go to him or anything.
Yeah.
Him came to me always saying, bro, you ate. I say, yeah, I want to make sure I get this stuff before I relax.
Right.
So when I think he realized that something was going on, I think the DJ went to get food. And the same issue that was there. The man was not having it. He said, well, whatever you need to do me in the kitchen, do what you need to do.
Right.
I said, because I not pay that kind of money for you to tell me my photographer cannot eat.
Yeah.
You understand? So some are like that when they literally come out and ensure that the people get served.
I don't think that they have to do that. Like, why you have to be fighting with caterers?
Exactly.
People, you know, to do that. If you know, okay, well, that's the case. Let the photographer know beforehand so the photographer can get, you know, the food that they need, like some sort of sustenance to keep you going. Because there's times that I'm at weddings and my feet, I could feel my heart beat in my feet. You know? No matter, I got insoles. Somebody else like, oh, you should get insoles. I got insoles. I still feeling that. I wear in sneakers. I still feeling it. Like it's just the
things of the job. That's just what.
Yeah, there are times I literally run in at weddings. You know, I run in doing stuff, and you don't realize because you're in the heat of the moment. When you have to capture these moments, it's not something you can relax about because it's not planned. Everything is candid. You know, and then after the major candid moments are done, then you settle down and you realize how tired you are. But you still have to keep going. You still have to keep going. Yeah.
That's why weddings are very intense. And you see, that's the thing. Whenever a photographer calls his price for a wedding, people do question it.
Yeah.
They
do question it. But I don't think, I mean, you can question, once you pay your money, you can question anything, you know?
Right, yeah.
But don't disrespect it.
And you know, that's
the thing.
That's another thing too, because bro, I tell you, I have a lot of experience in the game. I've been doing this since I was probably, I would say 16. So that's probably like 2007, 2000.
Okay.
I've done no other thing in my life. I've never been formally employed. That's all I know.
That's all. Right.
That's all I know.
Yeah, well, I've been employed a few times.
Well, yeah, but that's all I know. My experiences was literally from the bottom coming up.
Okay.
In the corporate space and in the quote-unquote social space.
Nice.
You know? So, but it's easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's easy.
Yeah, you have to keep learning, growing. And that's what I intend to do, you know? Because I don't think that people will ever... I don't know where it came from, like why people like to play with photographers. So you find like there are certain places that you're going to be and people will act like photography is not important. But then they would say anything that you ask them, they're looking at like you're supposed to know because you are the photographer. And that thing, like that phrase will never leave me because I hate so much. You the photographer. I was doing a wedding and the MC was standing in front of me. We were on a stage that was in a pool. So I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk around freely. But so I asked.
That's the same wedding we did.
That's the wedding we did.
Right, yes,
So
yes,
I asked.
yes.
So I asked the guy, like, can the bride and groom go stand like on the other side of the cake?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see. He was standing there and we couldn't go anywhere. So the guy will be on the mic like, oh, you the photographer. So I was like, no, hold on. You cannot say I'm the photographer for that.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I cannot see what I'm doing. So how can a photographer answer a question like that just because he's a photographer,
We're supposed to be the savior for everything.
Everything. So
The cake fall, you the photographer.
yes, so photography is very important. We capture in memories. We know, according to people, we're supposed to know everything, be it anything outside of photography. We're supposed to know how to quiet down people's children. We're supposed to be
Everything.
We're supposed to be
It's
able
almost
to,
like we are the wedding planners.
yeah, like so we know in everything. The planners will ask us questions. The designers will will ask us questions. Oh, does this look good? Like, so we're supposed to know everything. We are important, right? Yep. I wouldn't even compare us to videographers. I wouldn't say we're better than, but let's not go there. Let's not go there. But we're more important than the videographers, right? Because the videographers do their job, they do it well, but they wait for us to pose the people.
Right.
They wait for us to do different things. So we're supposed to learn everything to keep this wedding, at bay. Keep it going. Keep it everything organized, looking good. And, I just feel like we don't get the respect that we deserve, but we still get some respect, and I appreciate the little that we get, so, yeah.
I mean, certain people, that's just like in life. Certain people will get respect and other people will just not happen. Because I can give you some scenarios when it comes to that. Now, my emphasis is a lot on quote-unquote professionalism and finance.
Right.
And again, because of my natural discipline in school.
Right.
Because you can't do nothing without money.
Exactly.
And again, going back to the same contracting, what I have realized is that a lot of time, because I really talk about discounts, right? Because everybody always wants one.
That's true.
In my experience from doing weddings, that's why for me, I have developed a strict policy when it comes to weddings. I do not give discounts.
Yeah, same. Because there's too much to do.
Right. And not only that, for my own experience too, every single time I give a discount except for once,
Yeah, you encounter a problem.
I've always encountered a problem.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah,
and not only a problem, an unreasonable problem.
Yeah, because I tell people that I don't discount weddings because I am not only shooting the two of you. I am shooting your family, your cousin, your uncle there, anything could happen. I am not discounting that because anything can throw me off. I have to deal with so many different kinds of people. I don't think this wedding thing deserves discounts, and that's the reason.
Because like I say, the emotional energy is very high.
Yeah.
It's very charged.
Right.
Do you understand? So like I would have clients come and tell me, oh, they thought that I would make them slimmer. You understand?
Right.
There are other clients who tell me that they thought every single picture that I take would come like so amazing. No, that's not how photography works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you literally shoot for an hour to get 3 good files.
Yeah, because as the photographer, you coming to an event, wedding is an event, and it's not as exciting as you thought it would be. Right. So you just capturing what happens now on the day.
Now, let me tell you what I believe happens again, because like I tell you, I like feedback.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed a lot of times, they go to social media and see a lot of the images that are there.
Yes.
They are wow and amazing. But again, the thing about that, the environments are different.
Yeah.
So you're not getting married at probably like the Sandals or Royal Turn or something like that, where it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
You get married in probably like a regular community church. You probably have your reception at a community center. Like again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I have
nothing at all.
That.
Right.
But my thing is that when you start elevating your expectations to say why it's not looking like this person's picture and that person's picture, but the environment is not the same.
Right.
All we're doing is document. And I remember having this conversation about a partner of mine a long time ago. And there's this particular photographer that I adore him. He's very good. Extremely well. Whenever he shoots images in America, amazing.
Yeah.
He would shoot something in the Caribbean. It's not that his quality of work is any less.
Yeah.
It's just that as a result of the environment,
Yeah.
the pictures look different.
Yeah, the lighting is different too. The lighting, the sun is a little harsher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all those factors that play into. So when they have this expectation and they come and say, "Oh, you the photographer, you're supposed to know," and then you now face into issues where they come in and say, "Well, oh, I thought you would have done this. I thought you would have done that." I say no. So again, you learn life by living life.
Yeah.
Right. So usually now I sit down with them and I tell them, "Hey, this is my body of work. I am a photographer. I take a tendency of going more towards dark tones. If you do not like it, I can recommend somebody
else. Yeah, makes
understand?
sense. So, we're gonna wrap it up. But you could just tell us something that like something's coming. What can we expect from you? This in the carnival season, or just in the rest of the year. What can we expect?
Well, what can we expect? What can you all expect? So, again, like I say, I'm transitioning to a lot more productions. Because, again, I've noticed, most of our TV shows in St. Lucia is a lot of politically based shows.
Right.
So I think that there's an opportunity to now open up our space to do a little bit more, something more creative.
Right.
You understand? So I'm shifting a lot of my attention and time to stuff like that. So food shows, shows about like follow-up to carnival, and socially based shows. So I think that's something that you can definitely look for. In that you'll see a lot of popular people as well.
Nice.
Some very common faces and stuff like that. So it's just to get the engagement to a level that's outside of the complexion of the red and the complexion of the yellow.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, well, guys, this has been Peaktime Speaktime. Don't forget to follow Bex for the Pro, Peaktime Studio, and
CreedKool Brother.
CreedKool Braga. Yeah, the boss, But anyway, don't forget to follow on Instagram and stay tuned for more on Peaktime Studio on YouTube, Instagram, and on your phones. Don't forget to hit the like button and the bell notification for more stuff that we have going on. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching.